Hello everyone, welcome to Campbell's Creation, and I'm Ellen. And today's tutorial gonna be about crumb piecing. I want to make a few postcards, and I'm taking scraps here. It might be about an inch, no, maybe 3/4, but I'm using these crumbs, and I'm gonna make enough to put together. I have some here that I've been putting on the rolls. They're the wood rolls, wooden, about 3-inch tall, that I could put on, and I fold it and roll it on. And I have like maybe 10 or 12 more spools I can add scraps onto that I've been working on scene and off scene as well. And I also saved the tissue and paper towel rolls like this. When I piece my crumbs, I can just add them, roll them on one of these, use a piece of tape to start it, to hold it, and roll it tight as I can. If it's wider than this roll, I'll make it double the length of this roll, and I'll fold it in half and then roll it around, and I'll save them scraps up until I have enough to make a quilt. And this is the process. And I want to thank you and welcome all my friends and family from India that could be watching. I do appreciate y'all being here. And also, I think some of my heritage is from India. It's in my ancestry DNA files. Now, if I can figure out which side is the right side and which side is the wrong side, okay. Okay, I think this side has the brighter red, so I'm just going to start sewing here. And I'm just using random pieces. Before I start this, it would help me pretty good if I would just change this foot. Change my presser foot to a foot that I can really sew on. And I don't have my little screwdriver here with me, so I'm going to use these pliers just to change it out right quick. Won't take long, especially if I can find my box. I try to keep all my attachments in the same place, whether it go to different machines or the same machine. And that's important to me. Help me to keep up with things, because I know if I need to exchange a foot on anything to go to that spot. As I get more new and different machines, I also would take them to that same spot and put them in that spot. So I get here and line that up. All right. Let me tighten it, because I don't want it to come loose and cause any damage to my machine. And I kind of love doing this. Crumb piecing is my favorite thing to do. And I keep asking myself, why is it my favorite? Well, when I started young doing this, I'm going to change my thread. I need this orange for something. This is my thread for my quilt I'm working on. And I use this white here, polyester. I got it from Temu, I think. It's Temu or Amazon, one of those. And I got quite a few spools of this because I like doing a lot of sewing, especially when I'm feeling sad or down. Sewing is what I go to. It's my donut, y'all. Donut and coffee. And if you look on my channel, I do have a buy me a coffee link if you're interested. I just want to share that little information with y'all. But there's no obligations. It's just something I like to do. Okay, I have my bottom thread up. And to get this threaded, I would have to breathe lightly. And I got it done. Sometimes I can see my spot and get it, and sometimes I have issues with it. But one of the most favorite things I love to do is crumb piecing. And I'm about to show you why. I use the outer edge of my foot here as my guide for my 1/4 inch seam allowance. And even though it is a presser foot, it's also the same foot I use to install a zipper. Okay, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna trim it here with these scissors. And I lay my other piece over there. And oh my, I'm not gonna find my wooden seam presser, right? So let's keep moving this right along. I start on this end because it's the end closest to me, and I finger press my seams open. I take the end of my nail and just run it across the center, and I call that finger press. I do have a seam press around here somewhere. I gotta find a lot of my stuff that I work with. And before I move it on, I just take my scissors and chop it up. See that? I chop it up because this is what makes it such crumbs. And once I get that done, see, this one is uneven right here. That's fine. Let me show you. I just trim that on off. Trim it to even it up because you always have to use a straight edge to add more on. Straight edge. And then when I get little pieces like this, I save these little confetti pieces and I put them in a bag or a box till I get enough. And once I get enough, I can make a mattress pad or a pet bed or something like that to that nature and use these confettis as stuffing. And it works wonderful. I'm from the South. I'm coming to y'all live from the United States. Anybody that is not from the United States. So y'all know where I'm at. All right. Now I take these two pieces with these little crumbs. I can add a piece to this side. Line it up where it'll come out straight. If I can slide it under here, okay. Remember your 1/4 inch seam allowance. And I back stitch on the end so it'll lock in my stitches and they won't ravel or loose and everything just be a hot mess. No. Lock in your stitches. Peace and crumbs like this is a beautiful word. It's like nourishing and healing for the spirit and your soul. So if you enjoy sewing, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because you don't want to sew your project and it ravels, come loose on you. That's the purpose of backing up when you stitch, or sewing backwards, whatever one may choose to call it. I press my seams open using finger press, and then I can come on around and grab me another piece of scrap. You got to have straight edges. As long as your edges are straight, you can continue to make these. And mine is gonna be some gift postcards, quilted postcards for the upcoming holidays. And I love to frame mine, I really do. But I might look into if I can afford to purchase some frames, and just frames the ones I'll be giving as a gift to others. So I trim it, then I turn it over. Before I press my seam open, and I trim it some more, because everything I have here will go to use. Everything, even these little confettis, I save those. Get everything open up. Ooh, excuse me. And finger press it out. I thought I'd just get started early because I may have to move, which I am going to have to move, and I've been talking about it on my channel. And I also have a second channel called Sewing on Wheels, but the tag for it is at sewing, SEWIN, stitches, STITCHES 101. That's that channel where I've been working on the camper, and I tried to post a video for it, but it failed. And creating or being a digital creator, it's hard work, y'all. And I understand the concept now. At first I didn't get it, but now I get it. You know what? I'm going to add a piece of Betty Boop in here, y'all. I have this piece of Betty Boop strip fabric, and I love me some Betty Boop. Even though it's going to be a gift for someone, I'm going to put a nice little strip of Betty Boop on here. Probably should have used the other side, but I want a nice straight edge to get this in here. And you don't have to be in a rush. And always remember to lock in your stitches. And from there, you're just putting it together. Putting it together, making it work. You can shape it whatever way you want to shape it. Let me trim this. Now, this could be a little piece of scrap I can add to my little stuffing collection. Now, open my seams. Since they're such small pieces, I press my seam, finger press my seam open. And it makes the best. Now you can see the seams a little closer. I want to make sure y'all could see what I was doing. All right, I'm moving on. It's still not big enough for a postcard, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut me another piece from a piece of leftover scraps I had. And I'm gonna add a piece to the bottom of this. And yes, I use it all. I use the salvage. I use, it's a crumb. You just use what you have. Just don't forget to lock in your stitch. When you lock in your stitches, it protects your project from unraveling. Now, when I'm done, y'all can see here, I have this left over that I can trim off. But for some reason right now, I don't want to trim it like that. I'm going to go ahead and press this seam open and check out what I have. So, here's how I do it. Finger press it open. And now I can see what I want to take off. Y'all see that? Now watch this. I'm going to go ahead and take off. Okay. Before I do it like that, I'm going to go ahead and take some of this off. I don't want it that wide. And that will help me for sure. All right. Now I can take off that. Now I still have a crumb here, and I can put that somewhere else. Okay. Cut that thread tail. Let me see. Let's get some of this. I like this color. It has the purple. It's purple and burgundy and mauve-like color, which is mixture of tint or the colors in the fabric. They mix the dye to get this color, which reminds me of an indigo, that you can take the indigo blue and mix it with something, and I forgot what it is, but I love this color. I think I had a lot of it, and I wind up cutting it into 2.5-inch strips, and I'm going to trim this little salvage here off. I normally keep them in there and sew with them, but I'll save it for a stuffing this time. And I'm going to add this right here. And you see when I finger press these crumbs, I didn't have to iron it right then. But rest assured, I will take it to the ironing station and iron my seams. I normally make my own starch, but I'm so far behind, I haven't made my own starch. So I can spray it. And you know, when you make homemade starch, you gotta keep that in the refrigerator. Keep it in a spray bottle inside the refrigerator so it don't go bad on you. And to keep it from going bad, you can add potato vodka, and I forgot the other one, but they do have some items you can add to it to keep it from going bad. This is another scrap I put together, and if it's too big or I don't like it or something, these right here fix it right on up. Just cut it. because this is crumbing. I call this crumb piecing, and it helps relax me. I might be running my mouth a lot, but I love it. I want to make sure y'all understand what I'm doing, and maybe you can understand the enjoyment I get out of it and why I do it this way. Look at there. Them seams laying right on open. Y'all see that? They laying right on open. Now, I'm going to keep this big piece here on there because I like that color. And I can take this piece and add it, connect it. Let me see. I think I will add it to this side. And the reason for me adding it to this side, y'all, on this piece, I didn't press my seams open. On this piece, I pressed these seams to one side. But you still have to be mindful and back stitch those inseams. And I don't remember the project I was working with on this piece, but I'm doing them. I does them and I save my work. Even when I get through with a project, I save the scraps. And when I'm sewing with crumbs, that's my therapy. I use it as therapy. It helps me a lot, especially when I'm stressed out. Anytime you can't put your words together to express yourself, then that's when it comes in helping hands for me. So before I say anything that really destroys and mess up something and destroy a relationship or a friendship or kinship or something, I resort to piecing crumbs. And it's magical. Now, by adding this to here, I have a big enough piece to where I might can get 2 postcards out of this. And I'm not quite ready to make the postcards yet, but I have made some. But I want to show this to y'all. And I did get a postcard in the mail the other day, and I want to give Auntie Ellen a shout out and say thank you, G-Quad Tradition. Thank you. I received my postcard. Now, when I make this, I can just lay it aside and take one of these pieces and start again. Look in my container here. Now, I have one of these little containers, y'all, with the little drawer, the handles. Can y'all see this over here in the background? And I just put pieces in here. I save all my crumbs in something. I just don't want to pull out the same pieces, the same colors. Okay, I think I have a piece of that out, but even if it's too big at the moment, I still cut it down. Trim it down, cut it down, and just look through here till I find a piece I want to use. And if I got little strips like this piece here, let me set this back. I just take my scissors and cut me a piece. And I like it because it have like a beige, tan and beige color. Kind of look off-white, but it's a little brownish beige on the front here. And I can just cut me a piece off. Like, okay, come in here and estimate me 1 inch or 1.25 inch measurement. Lay it aside. Now I'm going to put this right beside. Now I'm going to put it on the end here. Get it on the end. That gives me, so it can give me like a straightaway. And you always have to have a straight edging to add more. All right. All right. Cut off these tails. And I use one fabric against the other fabric to know where to cut it off. Just leave it fold together and get it done. Okay, turn it over. Press these seams open with my finger. And I do have a small piece of nail on my finger, which helping me to press these seams open. And I used to go get my nails done just for this, so I can make me some crumbs. But not anymore. I don't do it anymore because I have a granddaughter that loves doing hair and nails and makeup and stuff like that. If you need to protect your nails, you can always go get you an overlay on your very own nails that will strengthen your nails. And that's just something I do that I'm sharing with y'all. And it's also depending on what type of machine you're working from. If your machine do not have the thread guide or towel on it, you can get you one of those drinking cups. I don't see mine at the moment. I probably knocked it down somewhere. But it's a cup made like this. It's a big cup, plastic cup, and the hole is in the center of the cup. And what I do is I just drop my cone of thread down into the cup and run my thread through the lid, the top, and let it come out the center. And you can set it on the floor over behind your machine, or you can set it on a table behind your machine and guide it through the guides that it would need to go through. And it works wonderfully. Now, I have seen people use a lot of different things to do that. And some might even use straws, y'all. And yes, I said straws. Because you can take a straw, run your thread through the eye of a needle, and you can tie a small tie in it just so it'll hold it to go through the straw. And you drop the needle down through the straw. When it come out the other end, you clip the loop or knot off that you tied to get it through the straw, and go ahead and thread up your machine, which it help guide your threads where it won't no ravels and lumps and stuff give you big troubles too fast. I think I'm gonna add some of this green. I forgot what I made out of a project using some of this green. But it's pretty. If I can, it's kind of hard for me to tell the right side from the wrong side, everybody. So I do have a vision issue. But even though I have a vision issue, I don't let it stop me from what I love to do. All right. Now the way I'm going to do this is cut some and stop. Trim out just enough that I want. And you have to keep in mind, you got to keep a straight edge. This is what I have here. So now I'm going to turn it over. Open my seam here and press the seam open. Now, you can very well do it like this and this way. And when time to iron it or press it, you can use your starch then and press it with starch. Or spray it with simple water and press it, which will act like a steam. Spray just simple water on it and then iron it. There you go. That's the front. And when you do it like this, it gives you these little colors, that little orange highlight in the center, the brown and the beige, which is a cute start. Now, I'm going to try some of this red here. And it don't take a lot. Just lay everything out. Don't worry about how long or how big it is. You just concentrate on your straight edge. I'll keep it all lined up and lock in my thread. Now I can cut. Now, I can trim away the excess. Lay the strip here to the side. And all right. Finger press this seam open. It seems like a lot of work, but in the end, it is well worth it. It is well worth it. All right. I can't wait to get started on one of my throttle machines. I'm going to cut this. I think that's a bit much of the red. All right. Now I can add something down the side. Let's see. What do I have up here? I'll try a piece of this. And I want to make sure I have it lined up where I can get a straight seam. Okay. I started sewing, y'all, very early. When I was about 8 years old. When I saw my mom piecing quilts out of little small little blocks, like the postage stamp, the 1 inch. And I can remember to this day telling my mom, I want want to sew? Let me help you. Just teach me how to do it and I'll do it for you. And my mama was having vision issues at that time. And I wanted to help her any way I could. And she was diabetic and she had glaucoma. And those was new words to me, you know, being a small child. Like, what's wrong with my mama? She can't see. I said, okay, I'll do it for you. You just cut them out, do them the way you've been doing them, and let me sew some for you and put them together. That started something very, very new in my life. I loved it. I enjoyed it. There was times when we would get together and my mom would have all the girls in the front room, which we call the living room. And at that time, we had a pull-out sofa bed. And inside, that sofa lasted us so long. But my mama would pull that little bed out in the sofa, and everybody would sit around that bed and hand stitch and sew till the quilt was quilted. And my oldest sister was more likened to the quilting part. Y'all, this didn't even sew. Y'all know what happened, right? I guess I played Bob and Chicken and the Bob and won. Because it's definitely out. Some thread caught in here too. Okay. Get this bobbing up. I have one already wound, so I would just put in a new one. Get it threaded. Alright, it's ready to go back, but I don't need all that thread. Trying to keep it from getting tied up in the machine. And I bring the bobbin thread up. All right, let's try this again. Let's see. What did I have here? This is the salvage edge. And I am putting it into this quilt here. Or the postcards. Because I have some more of this somewhere. I have a couple of containers I keep my crumbs in. Got some thread tails. I normally save my threads too, but I got to wait until I get more space now. So to break this down, to make it look a little better, I just eyeball it, cut it, going for half. And this is what that gives me. Okay, hold on. Okay. As we move on to the next piece here, I just keep on building this. You can make them as wide as you want to or as long as you want to, and it still looks beautiful. Okay. Now, when you get pieces like this and the shape is a bit off, you still can use that. See how that shape is shaped a little off? All I do is take it and either cut me a piece as long as I can reach and then square that edge off. Because you can't attach it to nothing unless you have a straight edge. So now it's a small straight edge piece. So I'm going to go and add some of this green here. Just add a piece to here. That would definitely make it long enough. All right. And just trim it. Before I open it out, I just go ahead and trim it with my scissors here. Then they're on the same page. Open it out. Trim the thread. Press my seam open. Finger pressing. And now I can attach this to here. Let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna attach it to this side. Well, line it up. Get it on that 1/4 inch seam line. And continue to sew. Okay. With the front side of it facing up, this is how I trim away. Just use the guideline of what I just sewn with and just trim it away and cut off the loose, hanging threads. Turn it over. Open up the seam and finger press it open. Let me see, can I get a little, so y'all can kind of see it here. Just open it up and finger press with my finger. That's it. Now I have a seam here that did a flip, so when you get seams that do a flip, I snipped it a little bit. Let me show you. This seam here did a flip. So what I did is I went in and took my scissors and I snipped it up here. Now I can press it back down and press it open because it has a small snip. Do not cut through your thread. Just snip it enough to flip it back over. And that is something I have done and always done. It's just a tip I'm giving y'all. I've been sewing now for over 50 years. I started when I was 8 years old, and I knew I loved the sewing when I was going to school. I was 8, and when I got to middle school, I signed up for home economics. I took 2 years of home economics because I loved it so much. It brought me just so much joy. And I was the one in the classroom that really helped everybody else. I wasn't called a teacher pet because I was not her pet. The teacher I had, everyone used to pray that they didn't get her. And I was thankful to God that I did get her, because she taught me what I needed to know. And I went to school in Humphreys County, and my teacher's name was Miss Bolden at that time, and she was a great teacher. She did her job. A lot of students, would call her mean and be upset, but she was not mean. Because when she would tell you something, she meant exactly that. And if you didn't listen or be obedient, that ain't her fault. And still today, even after that, I'm still sewing, I'm still quilting. And I used to do all my quilts by hand when I was quilting them, because that's what I knew at the time. And then I started making them on sewing machines. I started doing quilting on sewing machine. I started doing bedspreads on sewing machine. And my favorite machine was the Black Senior. I don't know if it was a 201 or a 99, or it was the Black Senior. And now I have one that was made in 1927 that I gotta work on or get service or get somebody to get it going for me. And I have another one here beside me in the table right here. And again, I don't know if it's a 201, a 99. It do have the years it was made on it, which I'm gonna do a log, because I have a lot of machines now. I might have over 30. And I'm gonna do a log to log every machine, every serial number on them, and just put them in a book so I'll know what I have. I'll be 60 next year, so y'all know how old I am now. And I've been doing this for a long, long time. I have made a lot of quilts and shared with families and friends and new expecting mamas, and I just love doing what I do. And I can't keep it all for myself. Oh, that's gonna be a pretty postcard. Look, if I leave it this size, and which I think I am gonna leave this one this side because it looks so cute. And when you're making your postcards and you do your crumbing like this, don't forget you're gonna need some pinking shears. But I'm gonna go a little step further, and when I get it sandwiched together and I pinking shear it, before I pinking shear it, I'm gonna flip it over and add some after I do my design on the postcard and what I wanted to say, I'm gonna add a piece of clear vinyl on the back side of it. So when you put your postcard in a picture frame or something, your writing won't transfer from your postcard to the back of the frame or something like that. Everything will stay intact. And that's what I'm aiming at. It's just something I'm doing because I just thought of it. And I do have one or two in a frame, picture frame. Oh, excuse me here. But I would have to get up, leave my spot to go over and look in my frames collection, because I also put my certificates from different classes I took in sewing to elevate my knowledge on domestic quilting and sewing. And I do have a Qnique 15R mid-size sewing machine on the cutie frame over here. And I also have a Hindenburg 12-foot frame that I have disassembled right now, and I have it in here too. So I have a lot of stuff in here with me, and this is mostly my sewing storage space and storage for my food pantry. But this is the area I like to come and sew to when it's not freezing cold. And when it do get freezing cold, I have a electric heater I will plug up and turn on. After I clean it up real good, I plug it up and turn it on, and it'll run all winter. I don't unplug it. I just let it stay running. And that helps because the bill will stay the same. Look at that little piece of green square right there. Looking cute. And I have some more of this. Like I told y'all, I have these wooden spools here. And I'm going to take this one loose and show it to you. Because I make these, and sometimes when I make them, it be about this wide. But when you fold them like this, then you can get them on these little small spools. See that? That's how I do it. I make this and I make it pretty long. Then I'll stop and add it to the spool. Now, I might have ironed them, ran the iron over them so they'll keep that little fold. Oh, wow. It's a lot on here. I don't know if I want to just take all of that off. But this is it. See that? Bunch of little scraps. And I turn them into strips. I make them long. Then I'll fold them. And I ran the iron over it so it'll keep that fold. And you see I have orange here, all different kinds of colors. Here's some of the green I was wondering about. The blue. And these, the little wooden spools, I purchased them off of Temu. I have got a lot of sewing stuff off of Temu, y'all. And Temu has a wonderful selection. If you're able to get some, this is exactly about, let me run it here. This is it look like exactly about 3 inches long spool from this end to that end. And once I make my strips, I just go ahead and roll them, wrap them on here. I have some black and white and red and green and pink. See, we have all kind of colors here. Blue and orange and green and white and aqua. And I actually rolled off way too much, considering I got to roll it all back on. Now, what I can do is, starting with one of these rolls here, I can take this roll and start cutting out my postcards. And during the holiday seasons coming up, you know, I have some special friends. I have moderators that I want to give them a treat. I want to do something for them because they have been absolutely wonderful in doing what they do. And I think something homemade and handmade is just the best way to say, I love you, I appreciate you, thank you so much for what you do on my channel. I even have friends, you know, some close, some distance. But I still appreciate them because something you did in my life made a difference. And if that's so, you know, I can take this, measure it. I'm trying to show y'all around this, okay. I can take this. Okay, if my postcard is about, what, if it's 4.5 inches, I can cut 4.5 here, measure it some more and cut another 4.5, sew it together, press the seam open, and start on a card. I also have some more pieces somewhere because I have this wooden dial which I made, and I was gonna make some more. I had made that stand to hold scrunchies, hair scrunchies, but I started using that stand to hold my crumb pieces. And the bigger the crumb pieces get, like if I get so many spools of this here, I can pull them off the spool, measure them out to make sure I have at least 3 yards of it, and go ahead and sew them together as a wider strip. And the wider and wider it gets, I add them to the dial. Well, here's one of the dials. I add them to a dial strip in here using tape. Just tape it down here, and a few of them in here so it'll hold. And then I just roll it like this to roll the piece up. But it have to be at least as long as the dial and wide as the dial. If it get any wider, then that's when I come in and fold the crumb piece in half or wide enough to fit it so I can roll it up on here, which come in handy. I'll sit this back over there. But I do have some of my own tools that I use to make certain things, stands and different stuff. I do hang some of my quilts sometimes to show and display them when I'm going live in a video, but not all the time. Even now I'm sewing from a different angle. I have my camera in front of me and I am working to show these pieces. This is a piece and this is the first piece I done. And you see this one is a little longer and I started doing the little longer little knit bits of strips, which that is fine. But crumbs, when you come to crumb piecing, you start breaking them down to the smaller bits. And I really love breaking them down because I could sew something here. Let me show y'all. While I'm running my mouth going on and on and on. Take 2 of these strips. And these look like a 3-inch strip and a 2.5-inch strip. Line them up, put right sides together. Get your 1/4 inch seam allowance, sorry about that. And just sew the whole strip. Sew the whole strip. Now this is how I sew for smaller pieces. Everybody don't do it like this, and that's okay. You do your method, your thing, your way. If it works for you, you know, continue to do your thing your way. I'm just showing you how I do it. Now, knowing I'm going to cut this, okay? I come back here once again line it up, and I sew a second strip, a second row of threads. And I do use my fingers for guide a lot, y'all. All right. Turn the right side of this side up and trim this off. And I really do. When I tell y'all I love doing this, I really do. I love it. It allows me to release stress, worry, and let me see if I can do it like this. I bring the whole piece around so y'all can see it, and I estimate at least a 1-inch cut. Okay? Again. Now, I'm cutting it in the air, just estimating my cut now. To kind of show y'all a little bit here, I'm not going to cut it all like that because I don't want to ruin anything. Take this, and when I open it up, go ahead and finger press. Y'all see this not raveling, right? I double stitched it, and it's not raveling at all. Now, to get the dimension that you will be interested in, just keep it going. Keep it natural. I'll place this under here. If I'm going to add this, line it up, get it under my needle, cover the 1/4 inch. This one, my stylos, or this, I have a stylos, y'all, but these Dollar Tree fingernail files with the little plastic end on them, I use these as a stylos too. And it works wonder because it's flexible. See, when you bend it, how it bends? And when I get close to this needle and I put that there, it gonna hold it there for me. I just have to move my hand and lock in my stitch, and then I can get close to my needle without sewing myself. And that's the end right there, y'all. Lock in my thread, cut it off. Okay, now I'm going to come here and cut this again straight across. All right. Put this back over here in my little caddy. I have one of these little Dollar Tree caddies I keep where you can use them for cleaning items as well, with the little handle in the top. And I want to pick it up and show it to y'all, but I might make a mess, so I'm not going to do that. You can get them in black and white or whatever colors they come in. My store at the time only had black and white, and I got like one black one and one white one. And I keep my sewing tools, my brushes, my pens, marking pencils, and pens, and scissors, and rotary cutters, and clamps in it. That way, my tweezers is right here beside me. Everything is right here beside me. My machine oil, my pliers, extra scissors, and a small ruler. Just a varieties of stuff. And guess what? Take this other piece, line it up. Just line it up, get it under the needle. Don't forget that 1/4 seam allowance. Go ahead and start my sewing. I don't think I got that I didn't get my seam open. I just started sewing. But it's okay. It's okay because you know there's a technique I can do to get that seam open. That if it become a problem, get in the way, I can fix it by making a small little snip, not cutting through my thread. And there you go. Doing it like this will help me to get more crumb pieces and a broader vision. Here's the other piece. Remember, I double sewn the seam, so when you cut it, it's not going to unravel. And then you're finger pressing it. That's pulling against the grain of the fabric, like that, and it's not unraveling. And I'm going to show it to you closer. See, it's not unraveling. I sewed just 2 regular seams, and if I could get them one on top of the other one, I'll do it that way too, but I can't see that well. So they are very close together, and I iron it open, and all I have to do is come back. I can add it to the bottom, or I can add where, no, I think I like it on this side, where the orange will, yeah. Just line it up. And this just help you to keep producing your crumb pieces. Get it on the 1/4 inch seam allowance, the marker, which my machine is a Juki, and it comes with the marking on the plate here. Lock in my stitch and continue. As I continue, I have to watch and make sure I'm keeping my 1/4 inch seam allowance. All right. Then I trim that piece off and that little thread. And open it out. Press that seam open. That is the reason why you just keep a straight edge. Somebody give you a bunch of circles and you want to crumb with them, cut them into at least 1 1/4 strips. That'll get you where you want to go. You have a start, and you'll have your little crumbs. Look at that. I pretty much use the same fabric to go around in different places, and one up here, but it still make the same little tiny small pieces. I even have a small piece of purple, lavender or purple here. I have to line up this edge. If that edge don't line up, you go ahead, stick a little heat to it and press it down. Once it's flat, you can see what you need to trim off to get that straight edge. And you just keep moving and keep moving. And I think this will make such a wonderful birthday gift or Christmas present or any kind of gift. Cut me another piece of this with the beige, the light brown, and just figure out which way I want to go with it. Line it up. Sometimes it means holding it to line it up. I get this first part, this tip edge lined up. You want to make sure you do your 1/4 inch seam allowance, which that is the very thing that makes everything come together for you. I think I tried to catch a bird in there. Okay, it didn't. Then I just decide on how much of this I want. And trim it back. Look at that. It just helps brings it to life. And when I iron this piece, let me press this seam open. There it is. Iron it out, hit it with a little starch, it'll lay flat. I love doing crumb pieces. I have been doing it for quite some time now. I take breaks every once in a while so I can work on a quilt or design the next coming quilt that I'll be doing. But I have a lot of quilt tops here that I really need to get quilted and get sewn and done, which is not stressing me out that much because I do have a mid-arm machine where I can do it, but the space I'm working in with it is very tight. And I do have a couple folding tables where I could take it outside and set in my backyard and put down my carpet rug and just quilt on top of my carpet rug with the table and the long arm, or should I say mid-arm. Some people do call those long arm machines, but I call it mid-arm. I guess that's all I have to show y'all for today. But before I let y'all go, I'll wait. I'll just go on and let y'all go. And y'all can check back on the community page. I will post a picture of one of my postcards. And I have quite a few that I have received through the year. And they just wonderful. I love them. And I'm going to create a wall. I don't know if I'm going to do it in my camper or am I going to do it for after I can repair my home from flooding. But the way I understand it, we might have another flood on its way just as we speak. And the reason I moved to the state of Indiana is because due to flooding. And I feel so stressed and tormented, like, till I can't allow it to win. I can't let it stress me too much to where I can't win. And when I say I can't win, winning for me is letting God take over, let him be in charge and giving him complete control of whatever situation I'm in. So that's enough of that. And I thank y'all for being here with me today. These are the pieces that I made today, and I will be working on more. And I don't know if y'all know it, but most quilters get little kits like this, which is for binding, making, and stuff. And I think I have had this about 4, maybe 5 years. I think maybe 4. I'm pretty sure it's close to 4. And these are great to have, and I do keep them in the kit. Let me see. When I use one, I just go ahead and use it, and I make sure I replace it, put it back in here. These are good for making rag rugs. They're good for making quilt bindings. They are good for making a lot of things. You can just pick, what you want, and this right here, it's like a stylo. It is a stylo that you use to help load your fabric through here. And that's what you do with this. You load it in and get the job done. That's how I can tell you, just get the job done. They come with some pins. I let the pins stay in here as well. And I have yet to know what to use this piece here for. This piece here is a presser foot that you can put on, I'm not sure, but you put it on either a senior machine, and it helps you to make a binding. It do have a fold where you can make a binding and just continue to go with it. And I like sharing tips and tools that I do use to work with. And a lot of your antique machines, y'all, comes with great tools. I mean, the quilter or the sewer, seamstress person that had it before you get it, a lot of them take great care of their tools and attachments to their machines. And I'm just overjoyed. I was blessed to get 2 throttle machines. I have the 2, and there are senior machines, and I have the 2 black seniors that I was telling y'all about earlier. That is either a 201 or a 99, and I know not one of the throttles I have is a red eye, but they are wonderful. They are wonderful, and I want to be able to continue sewing even if the grid go down. We don't have any power. Okay, you're not going to freeze. We still going to get this job done. And if y'all familiar with the feeling that I be having like that, do subscribe to my channel and stay tuned to what comes next. I always say stay tuned. Now, crumbing is not new to my channel. I also have other videos on this channel from the past where I have shown y'all how crumb piece, postage stamp piece, how I piece together blocks using just the thread method of holding it together and then sew it together. It works wonderful. It helps you to line your blocks up and keep them lined up. I have crocheting video, how I crochet sometimes. I just keep myself busy to keep from worrying or stressing out, because once you get 60 or close to 60, I know you got some kind of stress in your life. If you have children or you got fur babies, something gonna be going on, and that helps you stay busy, being creative. At this time, I thank y'all for watching my video. Please, please, please share this video. Share it out to your friends, your family. I don't know if you can it's a transcript will be created to this video. And once you get the transcript, you might can get that transcribed into your language. And I want to be able to be versatile with my videos. I will like to do a language transition for everyone. I don't have the sign language, but if there's possibility that someone that can't hear or can't speak very well, they like sewing and want to learn more, I want to be that one that reach out to them. I want to be that one that helps them in with their tips and ideas to help them to move forward and something that is a part of their life. So in saying all that, I'm going to thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for joining me. Thank y'all for sharing my video, and know that I love you and I always will. Y'all have a blessed day. Bye now.